of them searching like at Dan Romai, it's at Redemption Base Shop. So when you're getting people on like the YouTube channel for our trainings and stuff, it's just a Redemption Base Shop is what the name is. So um anyway, that's all. So today I'm going to talk about life insurance, single with no life insurance. How do you close it? What do you say? So let me share my screen. So this is from the 301 week 2 slide from yesterday. So this is the one we're going to go over. So if I'm sitting down with somebody and I go through the presentation and after I book the FNA, I'm going to schedule the life insurance or I'm going to schedule the FNA, and then I'm going to ask them, I'm going to say, before we get out of here, who currently handles your life insurance? And they're going to say no one, right? And at this point I've already learned that they're not macho, right? They're not married, they don't have kids. And the reality is, in this scenario, if you're on a kitchen table with somebody that is a no, they have no kids, they're not married, it shouldn't be set as that anyway, right? It shouldn't be set as a kitchen table. So something was set wrong anyway. But when we're here, right? So how do I close business on that appointment? So you've got no life insurance and you're single. So I would say, okay, awesome. So this is why Primerica at the KT, right? So I'm going to walk you straight through how I would go from where I'm at right now, which is identifying that they don't have life insurance, to now talking with them about getting life insurance as a single person that is not macho. Okay, I'll try to fix that later. Don't push that in there. I'll fix that later. Okay. So I would say awesome. So you're single, great. No kids, not married, amazing. No life insurance, perfect. So there's usually 3 reasons why somebody who is single and doesn't have kids would want life insurance. I just closed a $88 a month policy off of this on Saturday, guys. So there's 3 reasons why somebody that's single with no kids would want life insurance, right? The first one is the cost right now is cheaper than it's going to be for the rest of your life, right? Because life insurance costs are based off of 2 things. What do you think those 2 things are? And I get them to tell me health and age, right? So they're like health and age. Okay, great. Now with your health, generally as people get older and older, what do you generally see happening? Do they get more and more and more healthy, or are they getting progressively less healthy as time goes on? Like, well, obviously they get a little bit less healthy. Okay, perfect. And then are people getting older as well, or are they getting younger, generally speaking? And they usually laugh and like, well, obviously they're getting older. Okay, great. So the cheapest time for you to get life insurance would be now. Right now, let me ask you a question. Do you ever plan on getting married and having kids? And most people say yes. Right? If they say no, that's fine. But most people say yes. So if they say no, I'm just going to say, okay, awesome. Like, that's great. If they say yes, then I'm going to say, okay, perfect. So you're eventually going to need this at some point in time, right? And they're going to say, yep, cool. All right, well, you're not married, no kids. Are you like engaged, about to get married? Or is that like maybe a little bit further down the road? Maybe you got to meet the person first. They're usually like, well, I got to meet the person. Okay, great. So you're 4 or 5 years down the road. You're 30 right now. At 35, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for you to make sure we have the coverage that we need. So that's the first thing. The second thing is a living benefit, right? Our policies all come with a living benefit included of anywhere between $40,000 and $70,000 that you can use in the event of a terminal illness to pay your medical bills. Let me ask you a question, Sally. Do you currently have access to $100,000 to $200,000 that you could utilize to pay your medical bills if, God forbid, you got some type of unwanted diagnosis, or you were given less than 12 months to live? Do you currently have something that you'd be able to use to pay those bills? They would say no, almost always. I've never had somebody say yes. Okay, great. So obviously that would be beneficial to have something like that, right? And if we could secure something like that for 40, 30 or 40 bucks a month, that also had a couple other benefits to it, that would be beneficial, right? Yes, it would. Okay, great. And last but not least, Sally, do you have any like family or friends or somebody that really just made a huge impact in your life growing up? Like maybe they were the only one that heard you out when things were happening, or they were somebody that was always there for you? Oh yeah, my 3rd grade teacher, we became great friends. Like, she really helped me with a lot. Okay, awesome. What if, obviously we're not planning on you passing away, but attached to that living benefit and the cheapest life insurance, your beneficiary, you could set up so maybe your mom or dad got a little bit of money, but you could set that teacher up with a check for $100,000 in the event of you passing away early. And how would that person feel about you if they had $100,000 check and that was like your last thing that you did for them before you passed away? Oh, they would feel amazing. Okay, awesome. So what we're going to do next, I'm going to pull up my screen. We're just going to take a look at a couple quotes. All right. And that is, Cassie, it doesn't mean we're locking you into it, right? We're just going to take a look and see what the cost would be. Okay. And I'll pull up the quotes. Right. And so now let's say I quote her. Okay. So now I quote somebody and we get 35, 40 bucks a month. Right. So let's call it $40 a month. So then I come into the A diagram. Guys, I'm showing you guys how I close every single policy right now. Okay. Everybody type every single policy in the Zoom chat, because every single policy gets closed like this. Okay. So Sally, I understand that, you want to make sure that we're going to take care of your family for 40 bucks a month. We figured out that we could get you, we'll call it 250,000 bucks. Okay. So $40 is going to go into what's called an escrow payment. Sally, are you comfortable, or are you familiar with how escrow works? Yes, I am. Okay, wonderful. Let me just explain it to you for us. We're going to take a single month payment. Okay, that monthly payment is going to stay right here until you accept the policy. Okay, this isn't locking you into anything. This is just us making sure we can actually cover you. Axel, stop. Stop it. Okay, we can go on a golf cart right in a second. Sorry, Axel's trying to put the keys in the ignition of a golf cart right now. So he's 3, if you all don't know how old Axel is. So that's probably not a great idea. Anyway, so Sally, for $40 a month, what we're going to do is we're going to get you a conditional $250,000 in coverage. So if you pass away, they're going to pay your family $250,000 and they're going to keep the 40 bucks. Is that fair? Yes, it is. Okay. Give you medical insurability forever. All right. So you're never going to have to not get coverage. You'll always be able to have coverage through Primerica so long as you keep it open. Okay. You're also going to have access to $175,000 because we put the waiver of premium on. So you're going to have access to $175,000 in the event of a terminal illness that you're going to be able to use. And then you're also going to have term to term conversion, right? Which we talked about why whole life insurance is bad. Every other life insurance company is going to try to get you to switch to that. We're going to get you to stick with the term to term conversion. Okay. So those are the things that we're going to get right off the get-go with that. Those are the things we're going to get right off with the get-go with that. So now there's 4 options, Sally, of things that could happen. The first one is, God forbid you pass away unexpectedly in the next 3, but in the next month or 2, your family is going to get $250,000 worth of coverage. All right. I'd like to think you're going to live for more than the next 3 months. Okay. So there's 3 things. The company could say, hey, you know what, Sally, we can't cover you for whatever reason. Okay. You've got a terminal illness. They find some type of unfavorable things in your blood or medical records or something like that. They say, hey, we can't cover you. Second option is they say, yes, we can cover you. 1 second. Hey, please be quiet. You can play, just don't be loud. So they say, yes, we can accept you. And then you say, you know what? Change my mind. I don't want to keep this coverage. I'll get my money back, right? So now if you get declined, you get your money back. That's the first line. If you get accepted and decide you don't want it, you also get your money back. Okay. Now what's most likely going to happen, Sally, is this price is going to come back a little bit better than what we talked about today. All right. And then what we're going to do from there is we're going to take this money will then apply to month number 1 after you and I get back together and accept your policy. Now here's the kicker, Sally. You have to actually get back on that FNA, right? So we can actually go over everything. Okay. If you never get back on it, life insurance has what's called access equals delivery. So if you have access to your policy and you don't get on the appointment, it's just going to go into force. Okay. So we got to make sure we get back on the appointment so I can show you everything. Amber, that might answer your question from earlier, right? If we're not closing policies, scheduling FNAs, we're not giving them a reason to get back on.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Right. So we got to close the policy on the first appointment so we can give them a reason to get back on the FNA. Right. So anyway, guys, so in this one, I'm like, hey, look, you got to get back on the policy. She's sleeping. If you don't get back on, it's just going to start charging you after 2 to 3 months. Okay. I probably wouldn't say it exactly like that, but you guys need to understand that in 2 to 3 months, this thing's going to just get placed automatically. Okay, so look, Sally, you got to make sure we get back on for your FNA in 3 weeks. You're still good to get back on that time. Nothing changed in the last 10 minutes. No. Okay, great. Awesome. So this is how it works. So Sally, what I'm going to need from you, I'm going to need you to grab your driver's license really quick, and we're going to fill out a quick questionnaire. We'll get this going. Who's going to be your beneficiary? And I'm just asking, who's your beneficiary? Why? What am I not asking? Do you want to do it? Do you want life insurance? Are you ready to get started? I'm not asking anything like that, right? Do you want to apply today? No, they don't want to apply today, right? But they know they need to. Logically, you've put together, you put together something that makes sense for them, and yeah, exactly. Karen says it gives them ownership to their policy. So when you ask them who's your beneficiary, it gives them something. It gives them a piece of ownership on the policy. All right. So was that helpful, guys? And then I'm going to go fill out the application, schedule, make sure the FNA is scheduled, connect with the office manager, etc. What questions do you guys have about that? Anybody got questions at all?
Isn't access and it gets placed anyway, like they have to open it though?
Access equals delivery. So
Oh, so
they
if
have,
they,
if they have access to it, which everyone does with My Primerica, they have access to it equals delivery. So if they don't set it up, that's not their fault. Or that's not your fault. Now you need to do your due diligence to get in front of them, but the policies automatically place if there's no requirements. So if it's a power term, you know that they're getting a green check mark, they're good to go right away. So they get a green check mark, well, then they get accepted. So that starts pretty quick. But yeah. Any other questions, guys?
How many or how much, sorry, there's a lot of echo. How many times do you try to overcome objections when people,
On that type of an appointment, not super often, maybe one or two.
and what would you say exactly if they're like, no, I don't want to do it today or whatever?
Yeah, what exactly, why not? What's stopping you from, getting this in place and making sure we have this taken care of? Oh, I just want
Just
think
want
about
to think about it.
Yeah,
Maybe
great.
do it during the FNA.
Yeah, what exactly do you need to think about?
I don't know what else people say, but yeah.
Yeah, I need to think about it's not the I need to think, like, thinking about it's not an objection. Thinking about it is a stall, and it's the fact that they haven't gotten enough information to answer the objection that they actually have. And so they somehow think that telling you they're going to think about it is going to solve that problem. Which logically y'all could agree does not make sense. Like, you're not going to just like magically think your way into something you don't already know the information of. So you've got to, yeah, what exactly is it that, like, I want you to think about it. What do you need to think about? So, what questions do they have? What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, if they need to think about it, what are they thinking about?
Right, exactly. That's what I tell people. And then also, like, oh, I need to think about it. Well, what do you need to think about? Like, you're not going to think about it. Let's be honest. You're going to get off this call and your dog's going to go crazy and you're going to the bar with your friends. You're in a basketball league anyway. So like, we're getting together in a week, like your week is you're busy. You already said that you got so much going on. You're not going to think about it. And 5 years down the road, you're not going to have this in place anyway. And now it's going to be twice as much.
I like
Right.
Hector Lamarck's overcoming objections answer.
I don't make decisions day of. That's awesome. I've never met somebody super successful that doesn't. I trust my gut. If something makes sense and I'm able to do it, I'll do it right away. If it makes sense and it's a logical thing to do, I'm doing it. Why would I wait a week to do something that is only beneficial? That logically doesn't make any sense. Mom, what's his objection overcome?
Oh, he gets really saucy. He gets like, what do you need to think about? Like that I'm going to save you like $100,000, or that your family's going to have $500,000 if you pass away, when you
Right.
have nothing now. Like things like just really saucy and direct.
Yeah. Hector Lamarck stuff is really good. little bit meaner than I like to be, but it's good. He's from California, so they're kind of mean over there, but I got a bug in my phone button. Anyway, any other questions, guys? All right, guys, go put in the Telegram. What are you closing today? What are you closing today? And we'll see y'all tomorrow.